Hello, everyone, and welcome back to From Hello to Help. I'm your host, Sarah Kyle. At 2-in-1, we are committed to helping families navigate life's serious challenges, and a huge part of that stability is financial help. With April being Financial Literacy Month, we want to focus on how Michigan is preparing the next generation for success. Today, we're talking about what I like to call the engine behind Michigan's future workforce. I'm joined by Christy Lavasser, President and CEO of Junior Achievement of North Central Michigan, and Elena Wyrowski, who is currently an intern with Junior Achievement. Junior Achievement moves far beyond basic lessons to ensure students across the state have an innovation-driven mindset. Christy, Elena, I am just thrilled that you're here with us today, and I want to jump right in. Christy, let's start with the big picture. Junior Achievement takes pride in the fact that an investment in your organization is an investment in Michigan's future. How does your curriculum help prepare students for financial success in the future?
Sure thing. Thanks for having us, Sarah. JA learning experiences are designed to help students make important connections between what they're learning in school and how it fits into the real world. A student might be learning one thing in math, but then our curriculum steps in and helps them learn more on how to use those skills to figure out things we use every day as adults, like compound interest for saving or investing, or how to budget. These are skills that any future workforce and customer base needs to have to successfully exist in our economy. All of our learning experiences are tied to the state education standards to help reinforce other curriculum in school. We don't just teach about money. Our programming helps strengthen core literacy and math outcomes by tying those to the real world needs that most of us adults use every day. The one thing that's unique about JA curriculum is that it's designed to be taught by an educator or a volunteer in the community. It helps bridge even more connections between community and education and helps students learn more about new careers they may have never even heard of. And that's how we really help broaden students' horizon about what's possible. In our area of Michigan, we also have programs that happen outside the classroom, like For Our Future. This is a program where we found Elena, actually, our intern. This event has students invent a product, write a business plan, and pitch the opportunity before a panel of judges. And those who win get the opportunity to operate their business for one day at the Dow Championship, our local PGA tournament that's held in June. And last year, Elena was one of those chosen to operate her business, and she made us a pitch for an internship, and we could not say no. So we're really about bringing together real world skills and how to tie them to existing curriculum that's already happening in schools.
That's beautiful. And Elena, I am beyond honored to have you with us. Having, really some experience in your region, you're a little bit of a rock star, maybe not a little bit, a lot bit of a rock star. But you get to see now this work from the inside. We've heard that in Michigan, about 85% of students involved with Junior Achievement report better understanding of finances. From your perspective, why do these programs resonate so well with students? Why did it resonate with you? And share your story as much as you'd like, my friend.
Yeah, absolutely. So not only as a high school student, but from my perspective as an intern, I think Junior Achievement resonates so well because it teaches things like Christy had mentioned that students actually use right now. A lot of times in school, we learn concepts of things, but we don't always see how they apply in real life. And that's exactly what Junior Achievement does. It takes those core values and those skills and then puts them into real world scenarios and actual learning experience so you can realize that this is what we're learning, now how can I apply it? And in doing so, you learn a lot of lessons and experiences along the way and how you would do things differently, or maybe something didn't turn out exactly how you wanted it to. And so with that, you're able to kind of reflect on the experience as a whole. Along with that, with Junior Achievement, everything is hands-on and realistic. So students aren't just hearing about things such as budgeting, they're practicing it. Throughout my time in the For Our Future competition, I went through not only making my business plan, but reevaluating it multiple times with the feedback from people at Junior Achievement helping me, but also different community members and volunteers. All of that experience helped change my perspective on how I do those things. And if I were to participate in For Our Future again, how I would go about the competition is definitely different because I now have that added experience. Mm-hmm. So now once I get into the workforce, if I were to come come across something where I were to pitch a new business plan, I have that experience and those new ideas of what things work, what maybe doesn't, and how I can better assess the project I'm given. I've also noticed that junior achievement builds a lot of confidence. Because of having that experience and that real world knowledge, you're then able to apply things better than people who maybe haven't had that experience yet. When many students understand how to manage their money or make those financial decisions, they start to feel more in control of their future. I've also felt like a lot of students more recently have struggled in the financial aspect and is getting nervous about going to college and kind of being on their own. But I've noticed that junior achievement students a lot of the time feel just a lot more prepared going into it because they've had times where they've had to navigate finances and they've had that support from junior achievement. So then when you're doing it again, even if it's a little bit different of a scenario, it's a lot less scary.
My friend, I'm telling you, you are a unicorn. And the fun thing is that you're probably, you're amazing, obviously, but this is one of those things that Junior Achievement clearly has done, is given you even more, really, helped you shine a light on those skills. And I love hearing about what you've learned. Can't wait to hear more about your business. But Christy, can we get to the numbers? Like, I've seen some pretty impressive numbers with over 90% of students saying that Junior Achievement helped them think differently about potential careers, lots and lots of students being more prepared for college. Tell me more about how Junior Achievement bridges that gap between sitting in a classroom and actually entering the professional world.
Sure. One of the big reasons we have such good outcomes in that area is that we bring volunteers into the classroom, and many become mentors after that. Last year, statewide, we had more than 3,100 volunteers deliver over 700,000 contact hours, and that spans the breadth of classroom to competitions to just business members telling about their career and how they got there. But these volunteers bring their life experiences into the classroom, and it helps kids learn about careers they've never even considered. And JA alumni research has found that 1 in 5 alumni go into the career of their mentor, of whatever JA mentor that they've had. So these connections sometimes have a lifetime impact. Last week, one of our volunteers, who is a branch manager at a local bank, he finished the Our City curriculum. Mm-hmm. And on the last day, he brought in our assistant city manager to talk with the kids about what they learned. They told him what they learned. And then he helped them talk a little bit more about how a city works, what are taxes for, how do cities function. And the crazy thing is, because of this curriculum, one of those kids could become a city planner someday simply because they had the opportunity to meet and learn from one. And I just think that's really cool. But aside from volunteers, our learning experiences are designed to be experiential. What that essentially means is we want kids to have an active learning activity, reflect upon it, and then learn how to apply it elsewhere, much like Elena was just talking about. These students, and for our future, they run an actual business where they are responsible for the supply chain planning, the hiring, the marketing, and the product creation. It doesn't get more active and hands-on than that. And all of those lessons will translate to life beyond high school in all kinds of great ways.
Well, and even like you said, the connection back to someone who is in the community, who's volunteering, giving back, that's a beautiful piece of work. And, I've seen that work in other areas too. So that's beautiful. And Elena, my friend, your business, Sunny Sips, has gained a lot of attention in our community. As you celebrate Financial Literacy Month with us, can you share how the tools you learned through Junior Achievement helped you move from a creative idea to actually running a functioning and pretty successful business?
So like you mentioned, Sunny Sips actually just started as a creative idea and was really just something to fill the requirements of the For Our Future business pitch competition. I never really imagined it going any further than that. I always knew that one day I wanted to own my own business, but I didn't really think my first would be a lemonade stand, but you never know. And so what helped me really turn it into a real business were the skills that I learned through Junior Achievement. Once I had the initial pitch day and then was able to develop it further, and then on competition day, I had a really successful day of sales, earning over $1,000. I decided that this might be something that is worth continuing and seeing the impacts that I can make on other community events, and just seeing and learning. I learned a lot from the one day experience. So I figured why not? And I mean, you never know what's going to come from a new experience. So I decided to kind of carry it on and see what happened. So things like budgeting and managing capital definitely made a huge difference. Those were skills and things that I had never really had to put to the test. So I really didn't know how to manage them. I had seen and had observed other people do that, but then having that real experience myself doing it is really what builds that experience. I knew how I reacted in those situations, and because everyone is so different, being able to compare to others and see how other people do things is always great, but knowing how you react to something and different experiences being thrown at you is also super important and relevant. So I had to think about how much it would cost to get my business started once I didn't have after competition day, when I was a little bit more on my own, and I was no longer part of necessarily the For Our Future competition. It was definitely a lot different. And so learning from those experiences too was super important. But overall, how to get started, how to price my products, and what factors played into those things. All of that stuff definitely played into creating a new business idea and just kind of figuring it out along the way. As much as I love to be an over planner and just have everything scheduled down to the T, real life doesn't work like that, unfortunately. On event day, things happen. And so being able to adapt was something that I learned how to do very quickly, whether that was just on competition day, but then after that as well. Even things like the weather influenced how well my product was able to sell. And obviously, only Mother Nature has an effect on that. So, I mean, I did what I could, but you're not able to control everything. So figuring out the things that you can control and managing those to the best of your ability was super important for me. Along with that, Junior Achievement really helped me understand that having a good idea or a creative idea is really only the first step. There are a lot of other factors that come into planning and running your business. So you also really need to have a good, solid plan behind it and then be adaptable because things change super quickly. So because of those tools, I was able to go from just imagining Sunny Sips and running it for the day with the help of the Junior Achievement staff to actually running it and growing it within my community and some of the surrounding communities. Lastly, I kind of want to talk about it was a really cool experience to see something that I created become real. Sunny Sips was no longer just an idea that I was pitching, but it was a real thing that was growing and evolving, and I was learning along the way. And so seeing that real impact was super cool as well. But I really credit a lot of that to Junior Achievement and what I learned through the program. I never would have had the experience to start and kind of get out some of those flukes without the For Our Future competition. So I truly believe that saying yes to new experiences and opportunities and just trying new things, putting yourself out there is super important, because if I hadn't initially said yes to that For Our Future competition and replied to that email, I would not be where I'm sitting today. So I think it's important to try and capitalize on opportunities, especially when we're in high school. And I think that Junior Achievement really leverages that idea.
You gave all of us some beautiful advice and life lessons that some of us don't learn for a very long time. And that is, really working hard where you can work hard. Some things are out of our control. You also said, just take the chance. I think those are beautiful lessons to learn at your age. And I think obviously, Christy, you've got to be pretty proud that your program has impacted such an amazing young person. And you have mentioned that your programs strengthen core literacy, math, even attendance outcomes. How do you integrate those really essential life skills as well as, moving those into a financial curriculum? How do you guys do that? How does that work? Because you clearly have quite a success story.
Sure thing. JA started over 100 years ago as an after-school program. And back then, students did not have easy access to business school. And so the founders of JA created this program to help kids not only with financial literacy, but entrepreneurship. And it just wasn't an option for everybody to learn more about how to be a business owner. And so once that door opened, that college became more accessible to a lot more kids, the programs moved into the actual schools and became part of the school curriculum. But the cool thing about that is that we keep innovating. JA has programs like Finance Park, which is an in-person simulation that has kids working through a real budget, purchasing items as an adult, such as insurance, housing, transportation, all the fun stuff. But these experiences help kids refine those problem solving skills, critical thinking, and help them learn to succeed in this changing economy. The number of times I've heard kids say after these programs, like, I had no idea how expensive everything was. And I had no idea that, I needed insurance on my car and my house. And so those are just really important lessons that we help kids then match their career. The career they may have gone into, something like Finance Park, might not be the career they want after that. They see how what you choose can change what your needs and wants are. And if you want to live a certain lifestyle, you might have to find a career that really helps to support that. But it gives them that problem solving practice in some real life scenarios. But and then having the volunteers come in and make those real world connections, that really makes all the difference. And that's really the hallmark of the way JA operates. But that receiving mentorship during adolescence is one of our top 4 life experiences that can positively affect income, your lifetime earnings. And so that's a big piece of what JA will always be about, is connecting the business and education world. But beyond that, we try to create interesting, fun programs that keep kids interested. And we have a few competitions along the way, and sometimes a little competition is fun. So we have a long history of helping improve economic mobility and just helping kids see the possibilities that are out there and what you might need to consider along the way.
That's beautiful. And Alina, as we talk about curriculum, there's lots of ways to learn. And you have been in a traditional classroom setting, but talk to me about how Junior Achievement's curriculum has changed the way you view like dollars and cents, your own business, compared to maybe just reading or a typical classroom experience.
Yeah, absolutely. So one thing that I've definitely learned is that there's a lot more that goes into it than what you initially plan for. So like I talked about earlier with that adaptability aspect of things, is you can plan things as much as possible and try and get to what you might consider like a perfect scenario, but things change extremely quickly. And if you aren't adaptable, that's where I've seen a lot of businesses and things struggle. Even in my own experiences, when I was like, okay, I'm going to just stick to my plan all the way through, not change anything, I found that failures and bumps in the road came up a lot more often. But when I was more open to change and trying new things, that's when I really started to succeed. Because at the end of the day, like I mentioned, you can't really account for everything. So you just have to try your best to do what you can, and then in the moment, make decisions at the best of your judgment, use the resources and knowledge that you have to make the best decision at that time. But unfortunately, things don't all stay the same. That's also kind of the beauty of it, is that you'll never have an experience that's really identical to someone else's. There's always little tweaks and things that are going to change how you react to a situation. And so being able to kind of stay calm under pressure and just view situations as kind of with optimism, I guess. There's going to be things that change, like maybe your initial plan, but if you view it with optimism and just try your best to work around it, that's where you really find success.
Young lady, I think you could be doing TED Talks by the end of certainly the month. But hearing you is profound, and I hope that our audience hears as well. Being young and having this much wisdom is beautiful. So thank you for sharing. And Christy, I'm going to go back to you. At 211, we often say we are the front door for families in crisis. We help stabilize for basic needs, housing, utilities. This is a little bit different because we're talking about financial resilience. Can you talk to me about that long-term preventative measure that Junior Achievement offers to families in Michigan?
Sure. Our programs are designed that we have programs from K through 12 in the whole school system, and they're designed to work together. And as we know that if we start kids young, we can kind of get them into context of what it takes to be an adult in the working world. And so all the programs stack on each other. With the young kids, it's not just talking about money. We talk about, like I mentioned earlier, about the city. They learn about why the city functions are important, why taxes are important, and what they go to. So by the time they get all the way to high school, they will have had so many structured lessons within Junior Achievement that it's not a surprise when they get their first paycheck and think, what are all these taxes going to? Or what does all of this stuff on my paycheck mean? Or how do I open a bank account and where do I do that? But when you give the kids that foundation, they really, it provides a good base for life beyond high school. We have had a student in our area who has reached out to one of our educators and said, I just need you to know that I had a difficult home life growing up, and because of what I've learned in JA Personal Finance and JA Economics, I use those books like an instruction manual. I have my first job. I worked up to be a manager. I've got my first apartment, and I bought my first car, and that's because of you. And that's what, our big focus is on helping people get successfully into the workplace, but that economic mobility piece that shows young people you can do it. Here's the tools to do it. Even if you're not going to use them all tomorrow, you're not going to start a budget when you're 17, you know that those tools are there and you know how to find them, and you know at least that they're even an option. And that's the beauty of JA and how we can come alongside school curriculum, and they work very, very complementary to each other.
Love it. I'm going to ask one final question. Elena, I'm going to start with you. As we're celebrating together with our audience Financial Literacy Month, what would you think that people need to know most about junior achievement? Something that we haven't talked about or that they don't already know, or just one final, this is what you need to know, and then we'll move it over to you, Christy, to close us out.
Yeah. So something we've kind of talked about and covered throughout this is just really the impact of junior achievement. Oftentimes, I think we don't even realize how important like hands-on curriculum is until we're kind of in the midst of it and you're in the experience. It can be hard to just see something like for the For a Future competition and realize just by seeing what it is, kind of the experiences and takeaways you'll have, because everyone's experience is different. But within that, just knowing that taking new opportunities, trying something new, and especially with junior achievement, we offer a lot of different opportunities for kids to get involved in things they might not come across. But I think my kind of standing message is just that trying something new, you never know what's going to come of it. So especially with junior achievement, there are a lot of great programs and resources. So just looking through things and maybe saying yes to something that you're not super interested in just to see what might happen, you might find that that's going to open new doors to things that you would never have expected. I definitely would not have said about a year ago when I first signed up for the For a Future competition that I thought that I would be sitting here today, but this is a whole new door that the For a Future competition has opened for me. And that was simply just from inquiring about something new, saying yes to a new opportunity, and just kind of seeing where that road would take me.
That's awesome. Christy, what would you add?
I think the thing I would want to leave people with is that the organization is doing some interesting and innovative stuff. Mm-hmm. And even if you knew it from a long time ago, maybe you had it in school and a long time ago, it's constantly changing, constantly updating, constantly staying with the times. And we would love to have people come back and talk to us like, hey, I can't teach in the classroom, but where can I be a business mentor? Or how can we have a Titan competition where kids get to be a CEO for a day. And the competition is how can you make the best decisions to work through all the business challenges that we throw in front of them. And mentors from the business community sit with those kids, help train them, and give them some practice for that competition. And so we have all different options of how people can get involved. But JA has been doing some new things around reimagining high school education. How can we have a dynamic learning opportunity that creates these stronger real world connections with some new and innovative programming? So I would just say, if you haven't been around it in a while, give one of us a call. We're all throughout the state of Michigan, and we have opportunities for volunteers and would love to help connect people with learning in the classroom. So we continue to get outcomes that are letting our young people have all the options of success that they can have beyond high school.
All the options. And Elena, I'm going to ask one more question. I know I said I already had one, but I need to know, did you really pitch your own internship?
I did.
Tell
So,
me more about that, because I find that so brave and so beautiful.
yeah. So, junior achievement obviously aligns with a lot of my personal values, and just there was a lot of opportunity with junior achievement. Kind of my pitch was that I have the high school perspective on things. And so I had a lot of new ideas about new things they could implement, things that I really liked that benefited me, and some new ideas and things so we could get a further outreach and more impact. But yeah, so I followed up a couple times. I did end up competing after the For Our Future competition once I realized that was really my first kind of impact with the organization. And so that was kind of the first time our paths crossed. And so after that, I was like, okay, like I kind of did some more research about the organization, what they were doing, what their goals and mission were, and realized that a lot of our missions kind of aligned. And so it kind of began something that I would be interested in pursuing more of. So I ended up competing in the Titan Challenge this fall, and again, really enjoyed that. So I went up to them at the end of the day and asked if that would be something that they might be interested in taking on as student intern, that I would love to talk more about kind of what that might look like for both the company and for me, see how we could work something in. And after that, it kind of just blossomed. Overall, the junior achievement staff has been really great about fitting something to my very busy schedule. But it's been a great experience overall. I've been here for about a month and a half now. And so that's been really great. It's opened up already a lot of new opportunities just like this one. And I've had a lot of fun and learned a lot. And I'm hoping that I've been a benefit to the team, but I bet Christy could speak on that. But yeah.
I don't even need to ask Christy. I really don't. I can tell right now. I would go back to her saying, yeah, you don't say no to something like that, right? Like, especially as a nonprofit director. I love this. Thank you so much. It's inspiring to see how junior achievement is not just teaching about money, but actually, as we have seen, empowering young folks with skills that they can use to succeed. When our students have innovation-driven mindsets, our entire state wins. Woohoo. To everyone watching, whether you're a parent, a teacher, a business professional who wants to volunteer, I would highly encourage you to see how you can get involved with junior achievement here in Michigan. Please always remember that 2-on-1 is here to support you in every season. If you're struggling financially or just don't know where to turn for resources, we are your front door. If you need help, it's as simple as picking up the phone and dialing 211 or texting your zip code to 898-211. To learn more about the programs that Christine and Elena discussed today, visit the Junior Achievement website at northcentralmichiganja.org. Please don't forget to follow us on social media and visit mi211.org for more information. Thank you for listening today, and we look forward to having you with us next time on From Hello to Help.
I think